Funding for this program is provided by Annenberg CPB to advance excellent teaching.
In Santa Monica, California, second grade teacher Martha Duran Contreras integrates her reading and writing instruction with ongoing assessment of her 22 students. By establishing classroom routines that promote responsibility and reflection, she motivates her students to initiate the next steps in their own learning.
Max? Good morning, Max.
Morning.
Are you ready to learn something new?
Yeah.
Yes. Julian?
Here.
Is Kevin here?
Here.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you? My name is Marta Duran Contreras. I'm a second grade teacher at the Will Rogers Learning Community in Santa Monica, California. I've been a teacher for 22, 23 years now. The class that I have right now is very typical of a classroom here at our school. It's a neighborhood school, and within our neighborhood we have children who are living in poverty and children whose parents are professionals. We have children who speak English as a first language, children who speak English as a second language. Lucy, you're looking good this morning. How are you?
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? You okay?
Yes.
Yes. I have students who are 6 years old, 7 years old, and 8 years old, and just that, being 6, 7, and 8, there's a lot of variety in them, a lot of ranges. But I also have children who, in reading, for example, children who are reading at ending kindergarten ability, and children who are reading at 3rd, 4th grade reading. You want to read a little part of this to me? You want to choose a part and read to me? I want to hear how you're reading that. I think assessment is a very important part of my instructional program, and I have various ways of assessing children. Can you come up here with me, please? For example, if I'm going to use a rubric on a writing with them. How are you today?
Fine.
I'll share that rubric with them so they know what it is that I'm looking for. I don't want to keep them guessing. What does she want me to do? What I did today, instead of just having you flip through our journal to look at it, I actually made copies of your first day of schoolwork and what you wrote with us yesterday, okay? I like to set goals for them so they know where to go next. Otherwise, it's like, okay, I've done this, now what do I do? Helping them understand that they've got a long way to go, and this is what you're going to do next. Instead of saying you need to be way over here, I'll give them little steps. The whole notion of scaffolding, next step, next step. What else do you have in this paragraph? The point of that is I want them to see where they started off and where they're going.
I indented.
Okay.
I put my title, and I did the date.
Good. The next couple of things that I want you to start thinking about writing. For example, it says this weekend I went to Alla's birthday party. You were dancing. What kind of dancing?
I wasn't dancing. The squirrel was dancing.
Oh, the squirrel was dancing. And you could tell me what kind of dance the squirrel was dancing. You could use a simile. The squirrel was dancing as fast as a... I don't know. I give them very specific feedback because I want them to know what it is that they're doing well. Then also tell them, okay, now that you're doing this, give them some ideas for their next steps. So what you're doing is going to add more detail to your paragraph. Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proud of you too.
You know what?
You know what this means, right, boys and girls? If I stand here, I go like this. This one's longer, and if you look at it, it has 1, 2, 3 words. And it's something that I tell you all the time, or try to tell you all the time, to get ready to hang my spider. I do warm-up activities. They're more like focusing activities. The kids come in, they're rattling around, and they like them. A is a good vowel, and often, many times, words have an A in it. One of the most common vowels we have in English. Jasmine, can you give me a letter, please?
E.
E, another vowel? But guess what, Carla? Not today. One of the things that I use in my classroom is I have a little popsicle stick container, and I have every child's name, including myself, in there, because I say I'm a learner as well in our class. They don't know who's going to be called on. They might get their stick pulled again. So they're never like off the hook. Gabriela, you have a lucky stick. You got called twice.
Why?
Why? Are you sure? And what does that say? Read it with me.
Stay on topic.
Have you ever heard me say that to you?
No.
Oh my goodness. I say to you, stay on topic all the time. When we're writing on a paragraph, I say to you, stay on topic. So I specifically chose stay on topic because that's what I wanted to do with the lesson that was going to follow it immediately. If I reach into my little box today and I get a shoe, that's what I'm going to write about. I'm not going to write about a party that I went to one time when I wore my shoes and my uncle was at the party and my uncle came to visit us from Riverside and I like Riverside. You're going to stay on topic. You're going to write about the shoe. I gave each student an object to write about this morning when they started to write in their journals because instead of giving them a general topic like I've done, I wanted them to each stay focused on one little thing. But you're going to show me that you're ready to be good writers by the way you're going to walk back to your desk and to be quiet. You're going to walk back quietly. You can get your pencils ready though. You can start thinking, how am I going to stay on topic? I've established a lot of routines so the children know what to do, where to go next. I think children feel safe when they have boundaries and they know what's expected of them. Let's see what you're going to get.
I got a frog.
Here, hold your hand up. That's what you're going to write about today.
Strawberry. No. It's a bee. It's a bug. Ooh.
You know what that is? ¿Qué es? A skeleton? What else can we call that? X-ray. An X-ray. X-ray. What is that? It's a pot. Okay, boys and girls, make sure you put your names, your dates, your titles. Let's go. How are you? You're not happy today. You sad? ¿Qué traes? One of the things that I do when they're working on their writing is to pull in their background knowledge. You know what you can talk about too with drums? Because I know when you dance, you hear drums. Do you know when you use an X-ray?
When your body gets swollen.
And where do you usually go when you need an X-ray?
Doctor.
You break a finger, you're in a car accident.
I broke a finger and I had an X-ray.
See, you could talk to her. She just told you she broke her finger and it's an X-ray. Jasmine, what are you going to write about, do you know?
A bucket.
What do you do with buckets?
Sometimes you carry water in it, or sometimes you put stuff in it to take it over to your grandma.
Okay. So there's a couple of things you can do with buckets. Have you ever heard of collecting candy in a bucket?
Or collecting rocks.
So you've got a lot of information that you can tell me about a bucket. Okay. And what are you going to write about?
A tie.
And what do you know about ties?
You could wear them with like a party.
Have you ever worn a tie?
When I had to once.
Okay, so you've got plenty of information to start writing about.
And Statue Petite.
Okay.
You wear it to the wedding.
What is this? A nest? What do you know about nests?
That birds make nests and that birds
Do you know how they make them?
live on
They live in nests? Actually, the word is nests. And it's kind of funny. I'm going to show you right here. Just at the end. I usually don't take your pencil. I'm going to take your pencil. You can say nests. It's got a funny little sound that STS goes. Nests. Can you say that? Nests. Yes, a funny little sound. And yes, birds live in them. They make them. See, in Spanish we would say they live on them, but in English we say they live in a nest. So you use the word on. En español usamos on, en el nido, pero en inglés decimos vive adentro de o in the nest. So where do birds live? In a nest. You went right ahead and used the word in. Good for you. I'm very strategic in the use of either Spanish or English with the children in the class. Sometimes I point out things to them. For example, if they're saying words in English or the syntax isn't the same, I'll say to them, in Spanish we say it this way, but in English we say it this way. And I use language like that purposely with them. Tell me, what do you know about cheeses or a cheese?
You can put it on bread and sandwiches.
What else can you do with it?
Eat it.
Just like that? Now, what's your kind of favorite cheese?
I don't have a favorite.
You don't have a favorite? Do you like white cheese, orange cheese?
I like white.
White cheese? Yeah. All right, so you've got something to write about. You did some things correctly. Can you show me what you've done correctly on your page already?
I put the name and date up there and the title down there and then
Okay, and what did you do here already?
I
Here. What's that word?
indented.
You indented. Could you show me where the indent in it is? Good. So you do know. Right, so you've done like 4 things correctly already on your page. And you're smiling. I like cheese also. Yo, how are you this morning? I look at your paper, Alyssa, and I've already seen that you've done some things correctly. You have your name. I'm going to point them out to you today. You have your name. You have the date. You have a title. There's your title. Good. First sentence. What are we supposed to do with that first sentence? Do you remember? I'm going to draw a little picture. Maybe that'll remind you. Beep, beep. What happens here? Little car comes and pushes it over. Bam! It smashes it. It dents it. Do you remember?
I know.
It's okay. Gilbert, let her think. Give her some think time. It comes like this and it goes.
You squished it over.
It squished it over. The word we use is indent. Can you indent that for me? Can you start again, erase that, and indent your first word? All year long, I do informal assessments with them. I walk around, I see what they're doing. And sometimes I have to make adjustments, which I should, because my assessment really should be driving my instruction and not my instruction driving my assessment. Try it. Put your name on your line. So I really walked around and I saw about 10, 15 different things that I could have told 10 or 15 different children. And sometimes I choose little things. Sometimes I choose bigger things depending on the child, and I know that if I say something to this child, I'm really going to stretch him. I know maybe I'm just going to stretch him just a little bit, and sometimes a little bit is okay, sometimes a lot is okay. Can I have Carla, Riva, Max, and Lila? And please make sure you bring your book bag with you. This is day 3 of a guided reading group for children who are reading at approximately 3rd grade reading level. I had given them an opportunity to look through 2 or 3 other chapter books, and they chose that book after looking at the picture on the cover, reading what someone had written about the book, and they decided they wanted to read that book. And we had talked a lot about predicting what's going to happen. They're used to me asking them, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Can you prove it? Can you prove it? So it's just one of those other techniques or strategies that I use in the classroom, and they're able to use it in a small group. Remember some of the predictions we had from chapter 1.
Elaine feeling lonely.
And that was one of the things that I had predicted as well. Elaine goes to a new school and feels lonely. And I think many of you had the same prediction. You said Elaine's going to meet a friend. What was your prediction?
She meets a new friend.
She meets a new friend. What are you going to predict that chapter 2 is going to be about?
About
Pictures don't give me any clues.
About her and her friend
Okay. What about her and her friends?
doing a project.
You think so? What do you think chapter 2 is going to be about? You think the same thing? Make a prediction before you read your chapter.
But I already know because I was looking at the pitch.
That's okay. The pictures are helpful. That's something that you can use.
It looks like they're catching butterflies.
I think there's a big connection between prediction and motivation. I think it's a very important skill for them. It gives them a purpose for reading. It also makes them go back and forth between, this is what happened in the previous chapter, so I'm just going to predict what's going to happen next. Boys and girls, I'm going to walk away from you for a few minutes while you read your chapters, finishing up the other chapters, starting your new chapter, and I'll be back. It's okay?
Oh, I'm sorry when you said then she felt so. It sounded as if she was sorry for being there.
That's one of the things that's good about having established routines with them. It's easy to walk away from them. They're able to work independently. I want you to stop. I want you to look at your work, and I want you to touch each word with your finger to see if you spelled it correctly. It's one of those editing things that we do. Go ahead.
I like my job.
You could say the words out loud, too.
Sometimes cows are killed to make hamburgers. Cows have babies called calves. Cows are also killed to make beef.
Okay. No, not yet. I'm just checking in on you. Don't think I abandoned you. I knew that you were able to do this by yourself, so I was able to walk away and come back, and now I'm just checking in on you. Where are you right now? Like what chapter are you in, or where are you?
Third chapter.
Okay. What about you, Max?
I'm third chapter on the 25th
Okay.
page.
Let me ask you a question. What prediction did you make for chapter 3?
Elaine goes on a book hunt. Yes, they do.
Elaine goes what?
On a book hunt.
Uh-huh.
See?
You know what you're doing? You're using your pictures to prove your answer correct. And that's one way to do it. You can read, find something in the words to prove your answer. You can use your pictures to prove your prediction. Good. Lila, where are you?
Chapter 3.
And what was your prediction for chapter 2?
Chapter 2? She might have a project with her friend.
And was your prediction correct? No? What happened?
She meets her. She has lunch with her friend, and her friend says, "Why do you always eat rice?" And she asks, "Why do you always eat sandwiches?"
So she answered her. Tomorrow when I meet with them, I'll have them talk to each other and say, was that a good prediction? Do you think that's a good prediction or not a good prediction? It's part of something called a thinking, reading process strategy, and the kids are familiar with that. Boys and girls, signals on. I know you don't want to stop writing because I see some of your pencils still going, but you need to stop. You have to go to recess and PE, okay? For me, creating a community of learners is very, very important. It's probably the most important thing that I do all year long for these children. Go play and be happy. I love it too. See you. In establishing a community for them, I make them responsible not only for their own learning, but for their classmates' learning. And sometimes I even refer to them as sister learners or brother learners. Boys and girls, come sit on the rug real quick. The sense of community is very important. Boys and girls, one of the things that's important is I give you a chance to settle down, and I do something like deer time right after PE, because it means drop everything and read time. You're going to show me, though, that you're ready to do that by walking back to your desk and getting your reading materials ready. Let's go. If you're going to pull some books from the basket on top of your desk, take 2 or 3 of them so that you don't have to keep reaching in to get out a new book. Okay? You're doing a good job. I'll let you move around and sit in different places today, on the rug or wherever else you might want to sit. And I use Dear Time for a couple of things. One of them is for me to monitor the self-selections that they're doing. Are they choosing books that are appropriate? Are they choosing books that are too easy for them? Are they choosing books that are too difficult for them? It also gives me an insight into the kinds of things that they like. I enjoy reading, and I want them to enjoy reading as well. And I modeled for them. I read my own book, but I also read one of the books that they've read recently.
No, said Sophie. Yes, said her mother. It is her turn now, Sophie. Sophie, go and please sponsor the music to my party. I think I will if you invite Baboon. Could you in a boat? I could not in a boat. Could not. If I could not, would not in the rain. I could not, would not in the train. I could not in the tree. I could not. Now let me be. I could not.
Yeah, what kind of stuff we need to learn from this book? Let me see what it is.
People who get these 2 kids get lost in the woods.
Lost in the woods. Have you ever been in the woods?
Yeah.
You have? Have you ever been lost in the woods?
No.
No. So this is something new that you're going to learn about. One of the things that I saw you doing, though, when you went to the library, you chose this book, I saw you looking through it, making sure that you could read it. At first it seemed a little difficult, I saw you, but then you said to yourself, I'm going to try. Beatriz just recently started to read in English, and for her to pick up a chapter book and to be able to read, she pretty much read all of it, and she wants to read it. Again, that gives me another little opportunity to assess her.
I was very young. I couldn't understand what happened. I only understand that there was a terrible hole
Let's go back to that terrible hole
in the world.
Look at you. Beatriz, you know what's interesting about this? Just the other day, you were reading simple little books, and look at you picked up now a chapter book, and you've made that decision on your own. Good.
What do you think the little lamb is doing?
I asked her, "Are you my mother?"
Ah, very good. Okay, let's look.
An important instructional component to our program is the use of another adult in the classroom, and I have a wonderful instructional aide, Mrs. Vasquez. She's able to sit with one child and work with that child and do many of the similar things that you would see me doing in a larger guided reading group with 3 or 4 students. She gives that one student the one-on-one attention that they really need.
Say it. Meh.
Meh. Meh.
Don't look at me, look at the word. Sound it. Cry.
Eight.
Now.
Who will be my mother?
Perfect.
Nodrizas, dormidos, uno arriba de otro los tiburones.
I work with kids who are in very early stages of acquiring English in 3 different ways. I do the same kind of things for them that I would do for an English-speaking child, giving them ample opportunities to use language.
Turnos.
I give their language status, which is important because it gives them confidence as a learner, and I also make them feel positive about themselves when they're learning this language.
Nodrizas.
Signals on. On top of your desk, we dropped everything and we read. Now it's time for us to go back to finishing up our journal entries that we were doing today, the writing, staying focused on your topic. I'm going to give you about a minute. If you haven't finished, that's okay, because sometimes we share work when we're not finished. Took it to the table.
The butterflies are different colors.
Boys and girls, let's come to the rug. I want to get into our author circle, so I want to hear what you wrote today, and I'm sure your partners want to hear that too. Come on. Okay. Mrs. Duran Contreras, I didn't write anything today, so I'm not going to read. I need you to sit in a circle. One of the purposes that I have for children for writing is not just for me to read, for me to correct, but for them to know that they have an audience, that's someone beyond me, that the audience can be like their entire classroom. Their audience can be the person sitting next to them. So the whole use of an author's chair validates the purpose of why they're writing. They're writing because they have an audience. Alyssa, you're lucky you came right in time so that you can sit down and read.
I played a drum. When I was 3 years old, I said boom like this, boomy. I like my drum. I took it to my drum to the pipe.
Look at the smile on your face, Alyssa.
That's all.
Let's see, Gilbert, what would you like to say to Alyssa about what she wrote or how she read?
I like the way you use a nice voice. I like the way you write sentences.
I'm going to pick another stick, and let's see who's going to be reading. Gilbert?
You can use it.
Excuse me, I'm going to stop you for a second. What's your title?
X-rays.
Okay, so that's your title. Go ahead.
I forgot to put it.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
You can use it for your stomach and in case in a car accident when your stomach and it swollen is so in.
I saw you do a couple of things, but I want someone else to tell you maybe something you said or something they liked about what you read. Zane, what would you tell Gilbert?
I like how he read out loud. Thank you.
Julian?
Trucks. I like trucks. They tow other cars. Trucks can be very useful. Trucks help our world. Trucks are cool.
And Julian, you know what? Your stick got pulled again. What would you tell yourself about what you read or how you read? Make it compliment yourself.
I would comment about myself. I like how I wrote, and I think I did a pretty cool picture too.
You did a pretty cool picture. Okay, it's nice to hear you compliment yourself. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to have you turn to someone near you and read if you haven't had a chance to read, so that you get a chance to share your work with somebody.
You can make soup with a bucket. A bucket is sometimes big. Okay, sorry, number one. Kittens. I like kittens because there's more than one color. Also, I like mom cats. Cats are cute. I like them because they are the cutest thing I ever saw. I like kittens. I have 4 kittens. One is white.
One of the things that I'd like people to know is that learning can be fun. The children can be involved in many aspects of their own learning. Every child is capable of learning. Every child can be respected in their learning. As teachers, one of the things that we're here for is to guide them on this little journey, and not always to be the sage on the stage, but really to be their guide on the side. I think that's very important. Yeah, I hate you would smile. Did you work? What were you working on? Trucks.